Hey, what's going on, ladies and gents? This is HydraX, and in this video we are going to be taking a look at creating your own custom perk in BO3 Custom Zombies. Now, this video has been requested by a couple people, and I've wanted to do it for quite some time now, actually. Everything you need, pretty much, is on the ModMe wiki, but some of it you do have to kind of sort of piece together. So let's stop right now and download everything we need and get all of our tools ready. The first thing you're going to need is the custom perk template. It'll be the first link down in the description below. You just follow that, and all of your instructions are here. Like, this is all you really need to do to get your perk in the map. Like, to get a perk, a brand new perk into the map. Just follow this link here, download what you need here from Mega. Okay, sure. Download what you need here from Mega. It's a Harry BO21's template, so download that there, and then you can just follow these instructions and get set up. Now, the second thing you're going to need, and this is if you want to have a proper perk shader on the screen in your map, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to download and install Leak Mod. This was created by DTZ Exporter. I forget the other names that were associated with it, but most of the things here you'll see are from DTZ Exporter because he's the one, he's a big name behind the scenes in the community, and he's done a lot of stuff. This is actually his whole website, ModMe. He's something that he created. But anyway, you're gonna need to download Leak Mod here by following this link. And most of these downloads are really small. Like, there's nothing that's going to take you a long time to download here. So there's Leak Mod. It contains a single DLL, which I would highly recommend that you back up the existing version of this that's in your tools. I do believe that verifying integrity of your mod tools files will reset this and reset it back to the original file, but that'll also reset everything else that was a default file that you modified. So I would highly recommend backing this up just so that you can get rid of it if you want to. Leak Mod will be the second link down in the description. And also you need Visual Studio 2015 and 2013. Now, before I started working with LUA and Leak Mod, I already had Visual Studio installed. It's the main thing that I use for scripting, actually, and it's something that I've used for coding in the past on other projects. So I didn't have to do this. I'm sure that you can just follow these links and download a couple of things and install it. Actually, those might be the biggest things that you download while doing this. So just make sure that you do that, otherwise it'll be harder to edit Lua. I don't think you have to absolutely have them, but it's recommended. It's highly recommended that you should do that. So for the next thing, you're going to need a HUD. Now, this right here for the giant factory HUD, this is something that the dev team, which are the people behind Leak Mod, that's DTZ Exporter and the other two that are part of the team, I don't remember their names again. This HUD is the same HUD that you see in a default map that you create brand new in the tools. It's the same exact thing. It's just been rebuilt by the dev team, and like all of the names have been made like proper names so that it's easy to look at and edit. So you're gonna want to head and go follow that link, download that. That'll be this third link down in the description. And now you want to go to the fourth link down in the description because you want to add the perk slot to your factory base HUD. Now, this one does take a little bit more work, and this is working with Lua. So if you're not comfortable, just wait until we get to that point. It'll be super simple to just drop this into your file and start working. Now, what you want to do is you come down here to getting the custom container, you follow the link here, and then download that. Something that you're going to need if you plan on ripping any assets. If you already have Greyhound, you can just skip forward a little bit. But basically, Greyhound is one of the main tools that is used to rip files to port into Black Ops 3. Now, the reason you would need this is for if you're going to rip a weapon and port it into Black Ops 3 to be used with your perk, or if you're going to rip a perk bottle or perk machine, but there is a way around that, and I will get into that further in the video, so be on the lookout for that. You do not have to rip a perk machine model or a perk bottle model. And that's if you want to like basically copy, like say the Juggernaut machine or the double tap machine and just re-texture it. All right, but Greyhound is a very good thing to have. That'll be the 5th link down in the description. Credits go to Scobalula for making this. It is a fork of Wraith Archon, I believe. I don't know who made that, but credits to them as well. 6th up on the list is something that is very useful for ripping anything in Black Ops 3 because you can rip GDTs with it. Now, the important thing, the reason why ripping a GDT is so important is because it shows you how they set up assets in APE, like how they set up default Black Ops 3 assets in APE, which is something really helpful that I even use for this, because I'm a bit of a noob when it comes to APE myself. Like, I know some things to do, but I don't know what like specific asset files you need for what. I don't know all of the existing asset files to begin with. So having Hydra, I don't know if it's HydraX or HydraX. I just call it HydraX. But this again does go to Scobalula, the credit for this. And actually, it seems like it's something that's pretty hard to come by unless you know what you're looking for. What we're looking at here is the source code, actually. So that's fun, but if you don't have a way to build the code, which I do believe you can just use Visual Studio if you know how to do it. I, however, do not know how to do it. So I had to go to Scobalula's Discord, and someone sent a link to the HydraX file that they built in there. It should be trustworthy for the most part. And now the 7th and final thing that you need, this one isn't a download, it's just a link. Before we get into any scripting whatsoever, I seriously really highly recommend that you check out this guide. It is a basic guide to scripting. It isn't 100%. I've edited it myself, but I didn't edit everything to my own liking. I just mostly cleaned up Nate Smith's work and added a few things that he missed. But this is a really good guide, in my opinion. Obviously, some opinions may differ, but just please give this a read through if you do not know anything about code. Even if you know stuff about code, but you haven't really worked with the mod tools, this is a really good basic introduction to how to script in the mod tools. This does not replace a scripting like course, like being taught how to script properly. This does not replace that and is no means meant to. It's just meant to get people that don't know a lot about like scripting and stuff to be able to understand it more and do basic things like realize like what a data type is, and then using variables and using loops. So some of this stuff you will not use, some of it you might use regularly if you plan to get into scripting a lot, but that covers all of our links. Now let's get into how to actually implement your custom perk. So for this, I'm going to create a new map. This will be ZM underscore perk tutorial, and it'll be a ZM mod level. This guide is for zombies perks. I'm sure that you could do something sort of similar for multiplayer perks, but I would really have to look into that to say for certain. So yeah, there's just I guess a warning here. This is for zombies perks specifically. All right, so what we're gonna need to do is we're gonna need to edit the zone file. We're going to open the map folder. So I have some more things in my map folder. You may have seen when I created the map, because I have edited the template, which I can also make a video for that if some people need to know. And it's not common knowledge per se. But basically, I have a UI folder in here already, which is something you're going to have to create for this tutorial. And I've also added some other things. So let's get into it. All right, so the first thing that we're gonna need to do is basically just follow the instructions for installing the perk. So you're gonna open your Black Ops 3 root folder. You can find that wherever you have your Steam apps installed. Just follow it through common and then go to Black Ops 3. You're gonna wanna drop a couple things from Harry's perk template into here. You can change the file path for this, which I'd actually recommend doing just so that you know where to find it. I'm gonna put it in my own perk prefab folder. So let's just go ahead and drop this bad boy right into here. I'm gonna have to copy paste this into here. You should be able to just drag it from the RAR file that you downloaded into your root folder. So now let's back up and go to share, because that is an important one. Because this is your sound alias. Any sounds that you give the perk will go into here. So let's find that. Share sound aliases. For the sake of this tutorial, I will copy paste this into here. Normally I would just add them to my perk sounds that I already have created, but for the sake of this we'll just do that. Now let's back up once more. So I'm actually going to go back through and change the names on some things. So I want this custom perk to instead be called Brawlstar Punch. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and follow the file path into the alias folder, and we'll change this as well to Brawlstar Punch Sounds. Okay, there we go. You will need your map, your user map folder open now. So to open up this folder that he's provided, usually the folders with like capital letters on them are the ones that go into your user map folder. So basically, you just drag these things in. I have to copy paste because I'm an idiot. That's it. If you go into Radiant, drop the prefab into your map, and open up your map, you'll have your own custom perk that uses the stamina machine and perk bottle. But that's not what we want, because one, the perk will have zero functionality aside from being able to buy it, and two, we don't want all that default model stuff. So this is where the scripting part begins. It will be a lot of scripting, but first, before we get really deep into the scripting, we're also going to go ahead and set up our UI, the user interface. Now, you will have to create all these folders. So instead of following the directions directly for the custom perk factory container and putting it into your root folder, I would highly recommend putting everything in your map folder instead. And what this does is, if you're not going to use your perk on every map you create, this saves some space because it doesn't have to load the files for every map that you create. So we have the UI folder, you go into UI editor, and then we have two folders here. So the first folder is going to be used for the actual menu HUD. So it's this one that you downloaded. And you want to have, inside the menu folder, you want to have HUD folder and then your HUD. Now, you can change up all of these file paths, but you will have to change it for your zone as well. So that's something to look out for. And then go into the widgets. So this will be for the container that you have here that you downloaded. So inside the widget folder, we have HUD, and then we have our custom perk factory here. You will not have the rest of this. The rest of this is not necessary for this tutorial. I just have it because I'm not sure why I have it. Honestly, I probably should delete all of it. That's all you need for the UI to just get it in the map. Now, let's talk about file editing. So first of all, you're gonna want to go to your zone, and there's a couple things you need to add to your zone, which I'm going to cheat and grab from a different zone file that I have. At the I think top of your map is where it should go. This line is for the main HUD. This is the main HUD that you downloaded, and that is required because you have to use it. Yeah. And then you also want to paste in this, which was copy paste actually from here. As long as you followed the same file path that I described, you should just be able to copy paste this line into here, which is one reason why I made the file path in that specific way. So here we are, we've got paint.net open. This is something that was created by MadKicks here. His post is up on ModMe. You can probably just find it by typing in Perk shaders. The way I did this when I created Space Cadet is I took Perk background, I opened it, yeah, there we go, that's what we need. Adjustment, and we do, I think it was hue saturation. Yeah, so you can just straight up adjust the color with paint.net, which is something that I really like about it. So we use this as our background. Okay, so we got a border, obviously. We'll just drop that in here, add as a layer. We use this for the Perk logo. We're gonna add a new layer. And on this layer, we want to draw the design of our Perk logo, I guess. Something like that. Bang. This will just be a placeholder until I can figure out something better. unless I just don't feel like it. I keep all of my images and stuff in model export. I don't know why. I think it's a thing that some of my online friends have done to me. PNG. Okay, so we want to do new folder, and this is going to be Brawlstar Punch. Oh, I saved them as TIFF files. Yeah, that's right. So we're gonna name this specialty Brawlstar Punch. Sure, there we go. It's a TIFF, sure. Flatten, sure. All right, so let's go set this thing up in APE. So we'll just right click here, do a new asset, and this will be an image, if I can find it. For Space Cadet, I gave it a really long and dumb name. Here's Space Cadet right here. And actually, you know what, I'll just do this. We can copy this asset and paste it into Brawlstar, and then rename it to be Brawlstar Punch. Okay, and then we'll just select our file path for that. So we go up to here, Brawlstar Punch. It needs to be an image, 2D compressed, texture type. Do not resize, map disable, and streamable. And that's all your settings right there for your perk icon. And if we go off and then go back on, you'll see it over here in APE. I will need to put this in my zone, I do believe. So if we can just go up here and select that, copy that, close APE. Go to the zone and do image, comma, that. Here is where we get to the Lua part. And this is really simple. This is all you're gonna have to do. I already talked about creating these folders, the UI folder, the editor. I already talked about creating these folders. And then you need to put your HUD into here. You need to put this custom perks factory widget into here. And then you're going to want to open your HUD. Your HUD will not look like this. It will actually look more like this. This is what your HUD file will look like. It's what it should look like. So you'll have all this stuff. What you're gonna want to do is, like has been done to this file, you want to comment out this line right here. A comment in Lua is 2 dashes instead of 2 slashes. So you comment that line out, and then you go to this right here. You want to copy paste this whole thing, all of it. Don't leave any part of it out, otherwise it will not work properly. And then you want to paste it, you want to put 2 spaces here and drop it right here into this middle line, as has been done here. You can see it right here. So what you're going to want to do is in your actual HUD file. This is not my actual HUD file. This HUD file actually hasn't been in use because I forgot to LUA load it. So it wouldn't have showed up anyway. But what you gotta do is inside this stuff that you just added, you find the last line, it should be electric cherry. You put a little comma in there, and then you need to reference back to your GSH actually, because this part is where stuff gets tricky. So if you look at it here, there's a comment in here that's very important. It should be in the stuff that you copy pasted. So HUD items.perks.key. Now what this shows you equals image name. What this shows you is how they've set it up. So this is the image name over here. It's the name of the image that you set up in APE. So for me, we'll just do a quick space equals, and then this, we'll put it in parentheses. Why did you do that? Put it in parentheses, and then that's our image. We do not need a comma because this is the last item in the list. So now we need to figure out what this stuff over here is. So you see that based on this, it's HUD items.perks.key. Now, like I said, if we reference back to our GSH, this is what we've done. HUD items.perks.brawlstar punch. Now you see that key is replaced with Brawlstar punch. So what we do is we take Brawlstar punch, oops, that's the wrong file, and then we place it here because the key in this example is what goes right here, and our key was Brawlstar punch since we replaced, I believe it was custom perk here. All right, so that should be all that. And now we actually have to enable, this file to be loaded into our map, right? So what we gotta do is we have to go into our map name.gsc, and then or it's not GSC, CSC, silly. So you need the client-sided, that's the CSC, and you need to, I believe you can just copy paste it from here. It should be right here. No. They don't tell you how to LUA load it? That's kind of dumb. What? That's the important part. What you have to do is you have to LUA load it. So you do LUA load, and then you do the file path with the file path of your menu, which ends in the file name. So this will be factory, because that is the name of our file, T7HUD ZM factory. Okay, so it's UI, editor, menus, HUD, T7HUD ZM factory. Now, if you've changed the file path, you will have to put your own file path here instead of just using this one, which is the one that we used. But yeah, the LUA load is what actually gets, it loads the file into the map, basically. It tells it to open up the file because it doesn't open it up automatically. And I'm really surprised that it doesn't tell you to do that in here. considering the fact that it's necessary for the HUD to show up. That's kind of crazy to me. Anyway, so we've LUA loaded our file. We've put in our Perk, our Perk image that we created an asset for an APE. As a note to this, make sure that you change at the very least, the file name of this, because otherwise it will still find the default factory HUD when you try to LUA load, and it will just use the default factory HUD instead of the one that you've created that you want to override it. Make sure that you use a different file name. It can just be T7 HUD ZM custom instead of factory at the end. It can be the name of your map. It's T7 HUD ZM. In my case, it'd be Perk Tut. You don't actually have to change the file name of your main HUD file. If you just use a slightly different file path, like maybe you put it in one folder deeper. So instead of going HUD and then the file, maybe you put like another folder and then put the file inside of that. You can do that instead of changing the file name. You can either just, like I said, change the file name or change the file path to be something else. But you do have to change it in the zone and in your mapname.csc. That is the wrong one. In your mapname.csc.